Thanks for tuning in. It's Jodi, and today you are going to see part 2 of how to have courage and inner strength to deal with challenges. So, tip number 1, decide to act. In situations of challenge, one of the things that most of us face is the feeling of loss of control, which is why it's more important than ever to decide to act rather than to be acted upon. Because the reality is, either you can try and take control or someone else will. But if you don't do it, you are going to find yourself acted upon instead of the one choosing the actions and decisions. So make the decision first and foremost to play an active role in your challenge, in finding the solution, or in simply doing your part to help in a situation. A big part about deciding to act is also being vocal about how you feel. Not letting someone else take over the conversation, but expressing what you think is right to do in the situation, especially as much as it involves you. Now, as you get other family members involved, and if it's a family situation and not just a personal situation, of course you need to weigh those decisions and make sure that everyone's voice is being heard equally. But you do need to express and put forth your own opinions and voice so that you can be heard. It's important to be your own best advocate or the best advocate for someone else if they don't have a voice to speak for themselves in any situation or challenge. Don't be swayed by the fact that someone else's voice might be louder or someone else could be an expert and you're just a lowly person. You really have to learn to listen to your gut, decide to act, and take action in the best way you know how. You may not know the solution, but in all likelihood, you will get indications of what is the appropriate way forward for you in that given time. So listen to your gut, listen to your heart, and take action appropriately so that you can be your own best advocate and take care of yourself. Tip number 2 is have hope and keep the faith. Too often, people find themselves in difficult situations and they lose hope. They decide there's no way out of this, and they start to slowly or quickly sink into anxiety and depression. Don't let yourself fall prey to that. You must keep hope and have faith that things can and will get better. Remember, whatever situation you are facing, it is temporary. It will not last. I know that when I was getting ready to go into the hospital for the initial surgery to remove my brain tumor, I received a call from an older gentleman in my neighborhood. And he said, "Jodi, no matter what happens, do not let it shake your faith." He was specifically talking about my faith in God. And at the time, I couldn't understand why I would let anything shake my faith. Little did I know all that was to come. But I love that he called and reminded me of how important it is to keep holding on to your beliefs. When someone else is going through a difficult time, I bet you would tell them to hold on to what they believe, to have hope, and to keep persevering and to move forward, to hold on to their faith in God. And you need to do the same. You need to have faith that there is purpose in the trial that you are going through and that something good can come out of this challenge. And as we learned from Viktor Frankl, who was in a World War II concentration camp during the Holocaust, hope is the most important thing to give you the strength to move forward. Those who lost hope and couldn't see a future outside of the concentration camp, they were the ones who gave up and died. But those who had hope that something better was to come, those who recognized that this was a temporary situation, they were able to find the strength to keep going despite terrible circumstances. And many of them were later able to look back and realize that it was that faith and hope that kept them going during crisis. So hold on to hope and have faith. The third tip for today, or how to have inner strength and courage during times of struggle, is to stop thinking about yourself. It may seem contrary to think about others during times when you are in crisis, but often that is when it is the most important to stop thinking about yourself and to start thinking about someone else. When you take the focus off yourself, number 1, you stop feeling anxious about your own situation. Number 2, you are putting efforts toward helping someone else, which makes you feel better. And number 3, you really are helping someone else, which then lifts you in return. As you reach out to others, there will be many who say, "You're going through your own difficult time. I can't ask you to do anything for me." So don't wait for them to ask. Just do something, no matter how small it is. Whether it's picking up the phone and making a call, sending a text message to someone that you love, or writing a card to show your love and concern. Even the smallest of gestures can help you have a little dopamine hit, which helps you to feel reinforced, valued, and loved, and gives you a little boost when you need it most. When you stop thinking about yourself, you also start to notice more of the things around you. That means you notice the person who walks into your room, the person who is showing kindness in the grocery store checkout line, the cashier who was kind to you, or the bank teller who asked you how your day was. All of those things help to take the focus off of your own pain and your own struggles, and help to make you more aware of the people and situations around you. When I was in the hospital with my brain tumor, one thing I always tried to do was have a positive interaction with the people who were coming in to care for me. Whether it was a nurse or a CNA or a doctor or the person coming in to clean the floors or bring me a meal, I always tried to make sure to have a conversation with them, so they knew I was trying to get to know them. This was not simply a transaction, this was an interaction. And when we took the time to have an interaction, it started the basis for forming a friendship. And by the time I got out of the hospital, I felt like I had dozens of new friends, and I cared about the people who were caring for me. So make sure to stop thinking about yourself and start thinking more about others, even in times of struggle and crisis. For when you do that, that can give you the strength, the energy, and the courage to keep going. Make sure to stay tuned for my 3rd video with the final 3 tips for how to have strength and inner courage during times of struggle and crisis.